Warm greetings to all our viewers. Remember to hit the subscribe button for the latest in celebrity news. Lights, camera, action. We're diving straight into the heart of one of the most fabled battles of our times. The arena, the world of media, the contenders, the British press, and Meghan Markle. This isn't just a story about the Duchess of Sussex and her relationship with the media. It's a story about power, control, and the changing dynamics of public perception. The British media has long held sway over the narrative, shaping public opinion with a potent mix of sensationalism and scandal. But recently, we've seen a shift. The narrative is slipping from their grasp, and they're losing control faster than a royal corgi chasing a squirrel. This battle has been brewing for years. Ever since Meghan Markle stepped into the royal limelight, she's been the subject of an intense media scrutiny. Stories spun with a toxic blend of racism, sexism, and classism have been churned out by the British press, aiming to tarnish her image. But the tide is turning. Content creators with millions of followers are starting to ignore the British press's narrative. They're rejecting the smear campaigns and instead embracing Meghan's truth. The hashtag #WithLoveMeghan is gaining momentum, becoming a beacon of positivity amidst the storm. This isn't just a battle between Meghan and the media. It's a war between the old guard and the new, between traditional media and the power of social media, between those who profit from scandal and those who choose to spread love and positivity. This is not what the royal establishment anticipated. The smear campaigns were designed to sway public opinion against Meghan. But instead, it seems that people are tuning out the noise. They're showing love for Meghan, and in doing so, they're changing the narrative. The British press is on the back foot. They're starting to realise that when the public stops listening, their power diminishes. The question now is, how will they respond? Are we witnessing a cultural shift in how the public perceives the British media's narrative? Stick around to find out. A new trend is rising among content creators and influencers. In a world where false narratives often grab headlines, a noticeable shift is taking place. It seems that the powerful influencers of our digital age are refusing to be pawns in the British media's chess game. Take Nelly, for instance. She's a verified content creator with a massive following, and she's not buying into the smear campaign against Meghan Markle. Instead, she's posting content inspired by the hashtag #WithLoveMeghan. This isn't just some passing fad, it's an intentional move to counter the negativity and false stories that have been spread about Meghan. And Nelly isn't alone in this. There's Winnie Hayes, a lifestyle influencer with over 1 million followers. She's clearly unfazed by the media's attempts to tarnish Meghan's image. Instead of engaging with the tabloid tales, she's simply living her life, enjoying her pasta, and sharing positivity with her followers. The British media's agenda? It's falling on deaf ears. The smear campaign that was designed to turn public opinion against Meghan is failing. And it's not because the stories aren't juicy or scandalous enough. It's because the younger generation, who make up a significant portion of these influencers' audience, aren't buying it. They've seen the way the media can twist narratives and manipulate public opinion. They've seen the pain and distress it can cause, and they're choosing to reject it. Instead of indulging in the negativity, they're celebrating Meghan. They're choosing to see her as a woman who is strong, compassionate, and unapologetically herself. The younger generation is showing us that they are more interested in truth than in sensationalism. They're not interested in supporting a narrative that seeks to tear someone down. Instead, they're choosing to lift her up, to celebrate her, and to stand with her. This isn't just a trend. This is a movement, and it's a clear sign that the tide is turning. It seems the younger generation is rejecting the smear campaigns and choosing to celebrate Meghan. It's a powerful reminder that truth and positivity can triumph over negativity and falsehood. What happens when the audience stops listening? That's the question currently haunting the British press. This isn't just a minor hiccup. No, we're witnessing a seismic shift. A once captive audience is now turning a deaf ear to the narrative spun by the UK tabloids. The media's age-old tactics of sensationalising and polarising are no longer as effective. People are seeking truth, authenticity and positivity, all of which they find in Meghan Markle's story. Why is this significant? Well, the power of the press lies in its audience. Without people to consume their stories, their power evaporates. It's like shouting into an empty room. The British press, once a mighty force shaping public opinion, is now faced with a sobering reality. Their influence is waning. Consider this. The British media has long thrived on controversy and scandal. But what happens when those scandals are no longer believed, when they're seen as nothing more than a smear campaign against a woman who dared to challenge the status quo? The once potent mix of royal drama and tabloid sensationalism is losing its allure. This shift in public sentiment also impacts the financial bottom line. Advertising revenue, a major source of income for these outlets, is directly linked to their audience size and engagement. If people stop reading, advertisers stop paying. It's as simple as that. But perhaps the most profound impact is on the credibility of the British press. Once lost, trust is hard to regain. And in an era where fake news is a hot topic, credibility is everything. This loss of trust isn't just about Meghan Markle. It's a reflection of a larger societal demand for media that is fair, balanced, and respectful. The power of the British press may be dwindling as the tide turns in favour of Meghan, and while this may spell trouble for the UK tabloids, it may be a harbinger of a more discerning, engaged and empowered audience, an audience that seeks truth over titillation and values authenticity over sensationalism. So, what does the future hold for the British media and Meghan Markle? In the face of an evolving media landscape, it's a question that's been on everyone's lips. Shifting public opinion and the rise of influential voices online have put the British media in an uncomfortable position. The smear campaign against Meghan Markle, once a surefire way to sell papers and generate clicks, is now facing significant backlash. Now, we're left wondering, what will the British press do next? Will they double down on their attacks, clinging to their old ways in a desperate attempt to retain control? It's possible. After all, the media is known for its tenacity, especially when it comes to preserving its own power, and let's not forget that controversy sells. The more heated the debate, the more attention they attract. But on the flip side, we could see the British media finally accepting that the tide is turning. They may slowly start to adapt to this shift, realizing that the public isn't buying into their narrative any longer. They might begin to understand that their audience is looking for authenticity and truth, rather than scandal and sensationalism. The rise of social media has given a platform to voices that were once overlooked. People are no longer just passive consumers of news, they are active participants. They question, they challenge, and they shape the narrative. This is a time of change, and it's clear that the British media will have to adapt or risk becoming irrelevant. But of course, the future is unpredictable. What we can say for sure is that the public's love for Meghan Markle is stronger than ever. The more the media attacks her, the more people rally around her. It's a testament to her strength and resilience. Only time will tell if the British media will adapt to this shift or continue with their old tactics. But one thing is clear. The public's support for Meghan is unwavering, and their tolerance for the media's smear campaign is waning. It's a new era, and we're all eager to see what happens next. As we wrap up our discussion, it's clear that the power dynamics are shifting. In this new era of digital communication, the narrative is no longer controlled by the few. Instead, it's being shaped by the many, by individuals like you and me, by influencers who refuse to parrot the vitriol of the British tabloids, and who instead choose to champion a narrative of respect and empathy. We've seen how this battle has unfolded, how the British media's relentless attacks on Meghan Markle have not only failed to tarnish her image, but have instead led to a widespread rejection of their tactics. The smear campaign, which was intended to isolate Meghan, has backfired. The public, aided by influential content creators, is tuning out the noise and expressing their support for Meghan in droves. And this isn't just a fleeting social media trend, it's a cultural shift, a paradigm change. The younger generation in particular is rejecting the hate campaign and choosing to celebrate Meghan instead. They're not buying into the monarchy's PR machine, they're choosing to listen to a different narrative, a narrative that values kindness, empathy and truth. This shift is causing panic within the British press. They realise that their power is dwindling, that their grip on the narrative is slipping. Their audience is no longer listening, no longer buying into their sensationalised stories. And without an audience, their power vanishes. It's a fascinating time, and it raises many questions about the future. Will the British media double down on their attacks, or will they finally accept that the tide is turning? Only time will tell. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Remember, truth always wins. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more updates on the battle between the media and the truth.